determine what we wish to do. I wrote an op-ed piece called Taliban, Pakistan's Strategic Depth in Afghanistan and Way Forward. In that publication, I had suggested a 12-point program, and I'm going to repeat those 12 points. They were not meant actually for India, but for international community. And this op-ed piece was written on August 16th, one day after Taliban took control of the Islamic State of Afghanistan's territory. And I had suggested this 12-point action plan for the United Nations and international community as way forward to deal with the situation. So let's recapitulate what these 12 points were. The first point was that United Nations Security Council must invoke the Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter and authorize both military and non-military actions in the entire Af-Pak region, not just in Afghanistan. United Nations must not give recognition to Taliban 2.0 controlled regime in Afghanistan because of terror issues. The United Nations Security Council should declare Afghanistan FATA region. FATA is federally administered tribal area of Pakistan, and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Islamic Republic of Pakistan as UN protectorates. United Nations under its charter does have the obligation and does have the authority to declare a territory that is ungoverned as United Nations protectorate if it is, leading to instability and all. So that was the idea. The FATA and the KP province of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan have to be secured to prevent free flow of terrorist movement from one sanctuary across the border to the other side. Because in the past, the terrorists have had a free flow across the border, and that has led to a difficult situation. When India released the terrorists in 1999 in exchange for the passengers in the civilian airliner, Air India airliner, all those terrorists immediately crossed the border and went into Pakistan and again started plotting terror activities. So that was the experience. The next point was that the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and Asian Development Bank should not give low interest loans to Taliban-controlled regime in Afghanistan. Financial sanctions must be very hard from the beginning, as Taliban spokesperson have already started talking about extending Sharia law all over the world. So sanctions must stay in place. The next point was that the member states that are member of China-controlled international financial institutions, and there are two of those institutions. One of them is called Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, and India is a party to it. India actually contributed as a founding member of AIIB, but AIIB is under control of China. And the second is the BRICS Bank, or so-called NDB, New Development Bank of BRICS, which is headquartered in Shanghai. That both these China-controlled institutions, the other member nations, must invoke a veto power to any loans or credits or soft developmental aid to Taliban-controlled regime. Point number 8 was Taliban's violation of human rights, women's rights, and illegal narcotic trade calls for their criminal trials for crimes against humanity through the International Criminal Court in The Hague. For sake of humanity, the Taliban terrorists must not be given a free pass. A process akin to Nuremberg trials must be started to bring Taliban to justice for the crimes committed against humanity from year 1996 to year 2001. Strict financial sanctions also must be imposed on the Islamic Republic of Pakistan for its complicity, and it should be put on the black list of FATF rather than the gray list. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force on Money Laundering. So Pakistan should be downgraded from the gray list to blacklist so that Pakistan stops supporting Taliban-controlled regime in Afghanistan. The final step suggested was that there should be deployment of UN peacemaking forces, not peacekeeping forces, in the territory of Afghanistan since US has left, and this UN peacemaking force must be given mandate to maintain law and order and should have proper mandate to fire on the Taliban fighters and defend Taliban's terror support network and control and neutralize the non-state actors. The point number 11 was that UN mandate must involve demilitarization of the AfPak region, the terrorist networks, confiscation and destruction of all the $86 billion worth of armament that United States has left there. No terror supporting organization should get access to it and it should be destroyed. And lastly, the United Nations must take adequate steps so that Pakistan's nuclear weapons are out of reach of Taliban 2.0, Al-Qaeda, and other jihadi terror groups. It is very, very important because in 1996 to 2001, two scientists of Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission had traveled to Kandahar, and they had actually had meetings with Al-Qaeda leaders, including Osama bin Laden, about transfer of nuclear technology to Al-Qaeda and Taliban.